morning, chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. All right. Okay, so share my screen. All right. All right, chat. Good morning. Turn these lights on real quick. All right. So, what is it today, chat? Tuesday? Oh, Matt, good morning. Today's Tuesday? Tuesday, right? Yeah, I think today's Tuesday. So let's see what we got going on today, man. Hopefully, you know, hopefully not too bad in terms of volume today. Hopefully it picks up. It looks like it picked up a little bit during Asian London last night. So yeah, hopefully it stays like that or it picks up even more. But wow, we actually tapped 7.3. What happened? What time was that? 3 a.m. Okay, yeah, London. That was my wick entry area, wick entry sell area, but for Asian. But I tapped during London. But yeah, we got today, chat. We have nothing. I mean, we have orange folders in about 4 minutes or 3 minutes here. ADP weekly employment change, and that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. He's got that yellow folder, and then the rest of the week is pretty chill. I think orange folder on Thursday, unemployment claims. Friday, you got nothing really. So it's really only today, or sorry, Thursday, they got something decent, orange folders, right? But the rest of the week is just yellow. So nothing helping it from that. From like any news folders this week in terms of volume, so it might just be price action. But yeah, let's see what we can do today. Let's analyze and then break this down and then come up with the ideas. I'm pretty sure we're still in the same range though. Let's see. So hold on, Discord, you guys hear me? Should be good, right? Before I start. All right, should be good. FVG and order block. I don't use FVG and order block, so I have no clue. All right, so chat, let's break this down. So starting off with like the daily here, or the weekly actually. Let's start with the weekly, might as well. It looks like we're we're at the bottom of the ranges here, right? Like we're at the bottom of these areas right around here. So yeah, like obviously coming down towards like a hefty area as the last like 2 weeks, you know, same area, so nothing has really changed. But in terms of like strong zones, like, or higher time frame like support zones, like this is where we are at right now, right there. So you could expect price to slow down between here and here. The only thing is like the daily, if you go to the daily now, so this is what you got in the weekly, right? This is like the range that you likely will be stuck in for the next couple of weeks or so, until you break out. But if you go to the daily, the zones are going to be a little lower, and that's because when you look at it from the previous support, which is like I'll say down here in these areas, there's still like a little range that has not been filled yet, and that range takes you down towards like 38.76, which is down here, 38.76.311. And then your resistance is like somewhere along the lines of here, right? So same like resistance we've had for the last 2 weeks, and same support we've had for the last 2 weeks on the daily as well. But that's kind of just where we're at on price, right? And what I was talking about was this right here. This is like, I would still consider this to be the middle of nowhere. Like even like on what day was that? Thursday? On Friday, same thing. Like you came down near it and then again failed to fill and just rejected. So I would consider this still being the middle of nowhere. I wouldn't say this is like it's definitely in the range here for sure, like between, this is your overall range, but it's not the bottom of the range. And before you have any like the next market cycle that comes in, whether it's going to be a drive, whether it's going to be liquidity, whether it's going to be a range cycle, you would likely have to fill the ranges first. Because let's say you're coming off of like a drive market cycle on the higher time frame, like this is a drive, right? So we're going to the playbook V2. There's 3 market cycles. There's drive, range, liquidity. So you got over here, you got drive, you got range, you got liquidity. So based on what cycle we're transitioning into, right? A drive, range, or liquidity, it doesn't matter because you're gonna need to fill the ranges first. So whether if this is a range right here, right? You see how the bottom of the range is here and not like here. You know what I mean? So like this is the range you're in. So before like, let's say any direction, doesn't matter. You can like coin flip it honestly, in terms of like where it's gonna go. Obviously don't take your positions off the coin flip, but like in terms of like, you know, up or down, doesn't matter. Like, because either way, you're just following that trend. If it goes up, you're looking for ideas going up. If it goes down, you're looking for ideas going down anyways, right? So like, let's just say like price decides to just head down, right? Before heading down, yeah, I mean, if you head down, you head down. You're gonna fill that range regardless, right? That's one. If you head up though, then likely like you are at a range here, right? And then after a range, like you need liquidity. So like what would liquidity be? Liquidity will likely be like a break outside of the range, right? We don't know whether that is gonna, like when it, let's say it does continue up, we don't know whether it's gonna continue driving up, pulling back to continue, which is a possibility. Or it could also like fake out one end to come out the other, right? Or even like if it breaks up, it can fake back into range to continue down, right? But like usually these things would occur, like these fake outs, even like coming down here, these fake outs would usually occur when you actually break out first. You got to break out to fake out, otherwise like, you know, you're still within the same range, right? So that's like some new information that you will get eventually. But in terms of like where, right, like that's the part where like it's not really our business to figure out where it's gonna go, because price will kind of tell you where it's gonna go. But understanding like what stage is next in terms of price action or in terms of markets on itself, right? Understanding if we're like going from a drive cycle to a range cycle that could eventually lead to a liquidity cycle, right? Understanding where we are on that part of the map will kind of help with ideas. So that's the thing. It's like if this is the overall range, like regardless if you're going up or down, like you will likely fill it because you're gonna have to range first, right? And you have been ranging a little bit here between what is this, like maybe 4200, 4250-ish, right, until like here, which is going to be like 3943, 3950 areas, right? So that's like kind of where you've been ranging at. But even so, like even if this is the range and not like this overall, like you're gonna need to like break out either up or below in order to give you some more volume, right? Either the breakout leads to a fake out to continue back into the range, either the breakout leads to a continuation, you'll see a pullback and hold. And same thing, vice versa. If it goes down the opposite way, a breakout can lead to continuation. After a pullback, a breakout could lead to a fake out back into the range. But likely, like either end, like you'll have the highs broken into, right? And if it breaks down first, then you have that range being filled on the daily. So like that daily is a huge part of the analysis the last like 2-3 weeks or so now at this point. Basically the whole entire July. But that's why, right? Because that's like kind of where, like, you don't need to guess where the direction is yet, because you don't always have the information to anticipate like where that's gonna go. Like you can say like, oh, it's at support, it should go up, right? Could be true. But at the same time, you can look at it from like any other perspective and say, or the opposite perspective and say, well, these are just lower highs here being printed, and at the same time, like as long as that's being held, you know, this can still continue down. So that's why it's like, I wouldn't say directionless, because it is coming down bearish, but price will literally tell you where it's going to go next. You don't need to figure that out. Like you don't need to figure out like where it's going to go in order to trade, right? Yeah, that's kind of where you're at on that daily. So you drop down to a small time frame. We'll probably add another resistance around here, and this is important as well. 4200, same zones again last 3 weeks as well. Nothing has changed there, but mainly because that's like kind of where you break structure at. So above here, that's when like you're breaking outside this range, you're breaking outside the structure. Above 4200 is where I'm looking for buys at, right? If it comes up towards above 4200, and this might not be today, this could be this week, next week, whenever it is, but whenever you decide to actually break out, you know, that's when we're actually gonna look for buys. Because at that point, structure breaks. I think very key, you probably want to wait for like pullbacks after the breakout, just in case it could lead to a fake out, because anything above here for the first time, right, could lead to just a fake out. So you can literally just break out over the next couple of weeks like this, right? You can break out, and then you can also just come back to the range like this, and then that's your fake out. Right here. So you don't want to be caught in that, right? But there's ways to get around that. So if you're worried about a pullback or a fake out, then wait for a pullback. Because if you do get a pullback, let's say you do get a pullback, you continue back down to the range like this, right? And then you continue holding that zone as you continue to close back above. At that point, that's your higher low, and then there's a high chance you'll likely fill into this range now, right? Because this right here was able to hold, right, the previous resistance. It can even be in lower. You can even, like, I'm just drawing around scenarios, right? It can be whatever, but you can even come down like this and still hold as a higher low, right? Because like you coming down like this, remember the move up, start from here going up, this is your higher low. Like although you're looking at it from here like this, right? So this is like your range here. I'm just tracing price really. But let's say you go up, you come down, like there's really no difference on price, right? Like you coming down like this for a higher low can still come up, and this can just be a higher low right here, right after the initial low, especially if you get a bullish move up. So you don't need to catch the first part of the bullish move. If that first part of the bullish move is going to confirm you like where it's going to go, you can kind of sit that out and then look for ideas on the second half of the bullish move once you actually have like some type of like established higher low or support formed holding that zone, right? Again, so you don't need to like guess where it's going to go in order to figure out your positions, right? But yeah, if you're worried about that, above 4200, wait for the higher lows, and then above there, you know, that's when we're looking for buys. Because until then, like any of this structure here, chat, this can still hold. And if this still holds, then any given point, this can just be lower highs, right? Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs to just continue back down towards the bottom of the range, which is like 38.76, 39.20, etc. That's just your next support, right? So that's kind of where we're at right now. So that's why I think for July, like we've been getting like mostly wick entry sells, just because of like the way it's been coming down, right? It's been very slow, and I think this right here, it might be the first time you're actually breaking structure. And we broke that down yesterday too, where if this is the first time where you're coming up to retest the previous like structural highs, it's since like the beginning of the month, since maybe right like the 3rd of July, this is the first time you have like some decent bullish move that actually broke the previous highs, the first breakout could be a fake out. So that's why like yesterday we also had like 40 or 40 70 zones as like wick entry sell zones, right? Which was like basically here, because that was the first time you're breaking highs for the first time. So when you break out, you're not just gonna like, you know, come up like this. You likely will create structure, right? Especially if there's a lack in structure coming up as the first move, which was this. You could expect some reactions at these areas, which is just like resistance points, right? Like off of like here, here. Like we had quite a bit of trades here too, like wick entry sells here and here and here, all 3 times at these zones here. So that's kind of what we had marked up yesterday. But obviously the move happened already, right? The move came up. This is the first time you're breaking outside this range for the first time, or breaking the previous highs for the first time since July, which is pretty big news, because it shows that you're actually going to shift in structures eventually, right? Because if you just continue coming down like the same way, where it's been like, you know, drives, pullback, drives, pullbacks, drives, pullbacks, drives, pullbacks, drives, pullbacks, like continuous like that, any given point, like, I mean, you can just continue to do that forever, right? And if it does that, then nothing significant really is happening. Like, you're coming down bearish still, but if you're coming down that slow, the move could be corrected. And that's why we have the term called like a 1-2 pop correction, because if gold were to come up after this slow move, again, like this is a pretty slow move, right? So if gold were to come up any given point, this can be corrected within a 1-2 pop, which just means that it's going to get corrected a lot faster than it came down, which means that that bullishness could be taken over, right? Just off of that idea alone. And then obviously you want to wait for above 4,200 to confirm ideas if you're going to hold or not. But like this is what I'm trying to say. Like, this is pretty big, pretty good info, right? This is like the first time where you're actually breaking structure since July. So if it's been slow for you in the month, it could pick up here, right? Now, the hard part now is just trying to figure out, okay, is this going to correct the move, right? Because we don't know yet. We just have one bullish move up. You had a reaction here, but I think it could be a lot better, right? I think if anything, this one might have been a lot bigger than this one. So you could get that now, you could get that later. You could get it once you come up towards here. Like, I don't know when that will happen, but I need something to confirm that that's going to hold. So the idea is you want to wait for that structure, right? You don't need to predict where that structure will be. You don't need to guess that it's going to be, oh yeah, right here, and it's going to come down from here and then it's going to come up. Like, you don't need to predict all of that. Either if it's here, you'll see a pullback, or like if it doesn't pull back here, you'll see it come up towards these zones, and then you're still waiting for a pullback, but you're just waiting for that move to happen in order to give you an idea of what's going on, right? So I'm only staying here because this is like your next resistance here, really. But anything between like here and here probably won't be like any ideas for buys for me. If it comes up, it comes up. I think this range here is maybe like 1100 pips, so it's not too bad, but it could be the session if the session just continues coming up today. But here's the thing, it doesn't need to come up, right? If this is the first move up, again, it can still come down. It can still create higher lows or lower highs to continue down, especially if this is the first time you're breaking some type of like structure, right? This can just continue down, and then maybe this brings in volume for a stronger continuation down, right, towards the bottom of the ranges. So let's go back to, again, still no ideas yet, right? But let's go back to this real quick. So you see a 4-hour time frame. We have that. We understand that this is the first breakout. Let's drop down to small time frame zones now. I think 73 might have been 73, 78. Yeah, like right around here, I'll say it could be some type of like resistance that's kind of where you rejected off of. So if you re-break that, where's your next resistance going to be? You're looking at maybe like up here at like 41.41, 41.40. And I think that is also your gap fill from like last week, which is up here, right? Between like 20 and 41. That's like your gap fill from last Sunday, right? So maybe this is the week where it actually fills it. Maybe not. We'll find out anyways. But even if it does, there's no buys there for me, right? What there could be there at 41.41 is wick entry sells. So if this does continue up again without pulling back, like severe pullbacks. So what I mean by that is just like if it continues up without creating like structure, right? And that structure could be any time frame really, but it's all the same candles really on all time frames. But maybe like if you look at the 15 here, right? I wouldn't consider anything here to be, or even the 30. I wouldn't consider anything here to be like really that crazy of pullback. So if you do continue up from here, even like pulling back like this, that's okay. But if it does something like this where it breaks and then you get pullbacks like this and then continue, then you taking wick entry sells here could be a little difficult, just because like now you have much more like structure, you have much stronger like higher lows to actually continue up, right? So if it does continue driving up here without pullbacks, we can get wick entry sells, right? 41.41, that's like an idea we can have instead of like 40.78, since that happened last night during London. But yeah, 41.41 could be wick entry sells, and then also fake out sells could be a thing too. I think I'll be worried maybe just about the invisible candle here from yesterday. Also, we broke that down yesterday. There's an invisible candle there, just like a doji candle. Really, that's all that means. If you combine these two candles right here, they're just doji candles, right? So you can kind of just block it out. That's usually what I would do. And if you block it out, you don't have any pullbacks yet, right? Which means that if you do get a fake out, right, you're probably thinking like, well, wouldn't a fake out be here, right? True, this is where it could be, right? Like that's like when you start breaking back into the range, right? So if you were to break back into the range, you would assume that it's going to continue. I'll say be a bit careful, because if this is the first move up and then this is the first pullback down, since that is not here, you probably want to wait for more lower highs to form. Like you probably want to wait for lower highs continuation, lower highs continuation, and then more so below here. That's kind of when you want to start hunting for those ideas, because anything breaking back for the first time or again could still be a higher low to continue up. So fake ideas are doable. I think it's going to require a lot more though in terms of structure. Like it won't just be one hop into the range, because that can still continue up for higher lows, right? I'll wait for like more lower highs, and then eventually like we'll have ideas here. Again, we'll see how it looks if it actually does come back into the range here. But so far, that's wick entry sells 1, right? That we have 41.41. 2, we got fake back into the range, or fake outs, right? If you were to come back into the range, we'll look for that structure. And then 3 continuations, which is just below like 39.70. If we can't get the fake outs or anything, or breaking below here, we can look for ideas below here. Because the difference between here today and yesterday was yesterday you didn't have this bullish move here, right? Yesterday this is lacking. So like you coming down for the first time, I kept saying like just be careful of if you were to get a move down, because it can lead to a fake out, right? Because you're missing liquidity, you're missing like top wicks, you're missing lower highs. But now you have the lower high, right? So if you break back into the range, the only thing you gotta be careful of is just this being lower highs to continue up. But you wait for pullbacks, re-breaks, continuation. So like we could end up just getting below 39.80. That might not be an issue. And since this is an invisible candle here, there's really nothing too strong here anymore of like a zone, right? So that could be clean as well. So those are 3 ideas, chat. Wick entry sells, 41.41, 2, the fake outs, wait for the extra structure. And then I might even put a zone here, to be honest, maybe like around here, below there, 39.80. And then the other idea is below the overall areas, which is like below here, like 49.59, like below the actual support zone, right? Because that's just continuation on the higher time frame anyways. If that were to continue down, that's going to re-break this. And then this is the first lower high, right? So if you re-break, there's a higher chance that you could drive, right? So that's pretty much it. Straightforward day. Those are the 3 simple ideas. That's how we came up with it. And then now we just kind of wait, right? So we know like there's nothing to FOMO over if you were to continue up here. Because if you continue up, that's 750 pips. But again, no ideas there until the wick entry sells, right? So the buys, so let that fly. And then if it were to continue down, you know not to FOMO anyways, because like there's nothing in this range here, right? The only way I can maybe get sells below like 40.40 or anywhere in this zone here is if you come up first, which is what I forgot to explain too. If you do come up first here, it is possible, but you're gonna need to wait for structure regardless, right? So the same thing we're looking for like down here, lower highs, then continue down. The same thing. If you come up first, and then you shift back into the range, lower highs, and then this could be doable, but only if you come up first, because then this is like your liquidity now, right? If you come up near like 41.41, let's say you come up towards 41.20, we missed the wick entry sells by 200 pips, it comes back into the range, we can just take the fake outs here instead, but just wait for that extra structure to form and then you'll be set, right? Because that's making a new high, which is giving you like more info. All right, chat. I think that's it. That's pretty straightforward. So I'm just gonna copy this over to MetaTrader, and then yeah, we just continue waiting. But I think it looks a lot better than yesterday. So fingers crossed that this doesn't stop. So done. Buy or sell. 4341. 4341. Four two two four. Three eight seven six. Four one four one 40. It would have been nice if this move happened during New York session chat. 4078. Wick entry sells, start the day off, and then that's your first move, and then your second move could be more continuation move. Would be nice. That's usually when we get two trades. Usually when we get the earlier one. But that doesn't seem like the case today. It looks like our move will be like a directional one. $39.80, $39.54. Alright, so yeah, pretty much it. And that's gonna all we got. Let's see, this is rejecting so far. Let's see if that can make a move down. $87% win rate. You're a boot camp. What's up, multi-started? I think that was pretty straightforward, chat. Starting real is like, give me trying to understand when I'm new to trading. I think that's very simple to understand though, because it's just support and resistance, right? Like it's nothing like too fancy. It's just like lines and levels off of like major zones in the past, really. Just historical data you're basing it off of, like, you know, looking left, that's historical data, and then you're just going off of like, oh, in the past, where did we reject that? Right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. The thing is, like, you know, a lot of times like traders would do that and then go off of just those, like, oh, since we rejected here in the past, we'll reject here again, and then that's what you can just base your positions off of, right? And that's a good way to start, and then over time you kind of just improve on that, like, oh, okay, well, depending on, like, for instance, like, you go from just taking like your sells and buys off of like support and resistance to like then trying to figure out, okay, what market cycle are we in? Okay, if we're in, like, let's say a drive cycle, could I still take a sell off of that resistance? Probably not, because you're more biased and you're driving now, right? Compared to like a range where you're more likely to reject. That might make a lot more sense now, right? So you can't just build onto the ideas over time. But I think in terms of the strategy alone, like it's straightforward. It's like literally just boring resistance. You don't even need no FVGs, order blocks, like no indicators, boring resistance, and just like candles, really, right? What's up, Richie? What's up, Space Cadet? What's up, Wogman? What's up, Cookie? Raul Morsels. Can I get a what's up, Nas? What's up, Digital Nas? Do you know Digital Nas? What's up, Pencil? Good morning, sir. You heard the song? Who the fuck is DG? Nah, but I heard his I didn't hear that song yet, but I heard the Stream University one. That was funny. It was actually a banger. What? Yo, I met I didn't meet I met DG before, and I saw him in where is it, Dominican, at the casino. I saw him. I saw fuck, I forgot. I saw Dub, his brother. Who else is there? The Shay Frost is there. I saw the whole DG squad there, basically. That shit was crazy. All right, bro. Too old for that. You're never too old for ending, bro. You can't be too old to be tapped in. Is it time to sell yet? Yeah, you can sell. You can sell and buy whatever you want to do, man. Whatever. Like I said, guys, I'm gonna be what happened to Pencil? You bit me some. I think you got the wrong guy, bro. Anyways, like I said, chat, we gotta wait for this, 700 pip move to drop. I gotta wait 700 pips. So if you want to sell, take your sells, man. Take your buys, whatever you want to do. Lock in your positions, because I'm gonna wait here. At least another 700, maybe less. If you come up first and then come down, that'll probably be a little less, but that's where we at. That is where we at. This chat is working on NASDAQ also. I don't know. I've been looking at NASDAQ. I might, in the future, trade NASDAQ, but NAS 100. Like I think NAS is like kind of similar to gold in terms of movement. Like this could lead to this is like literally where gold is right now, basically. But it looks pretty good. Like I can, if I mark up NASDAQ right now the same way I mark up gold, like it'll give me the same answers in my playbook. There's a leg candle right here or something. I think there's a leg candle here. Your support. This is your I guess resistance. This could be a fake out. I'll wait for price to probably make its way down first. But if it does make its way down towards the leg candle body reaction, you can get a reaction. And then as you rebreak the lows and pull back and hold that zone, that's your continuation. So then you can look for sales like to fill that leg candle right here. So yeah, like I think in terms of analysis, like it's there. I've been looking at it. So if I continue to look at this for another like couple of months, prior a couple of years, to be honest, knowing me, maybe about like 2029, 2028, we can probably start trading this. Maybe 2028 if I trade futures, or 2027, we'll see. But I've been peeping NAS a little bit here and there. By 2029, Dow Jones. Who's Dow Jones? Nah, DJI, right? Who's Dow Jones? Who is Dow Jones though, chat? What happened to 41, 41, 83, bro? I'm not too sure. We broke or something? S&P. I used to trade US30. That was my first pair. My first pair. What's up, S&P? How's it look again? What's the thing for it? It's not S&P. Oh, right here. Check BTC, bro. BTC USD. What's there a check? Nah, it's moving up. I see it. I think we're still in this range though, so I don't think anything crazy will happen until this breaks out between like 72 and 83. Why is the BTC font so much more clear here? Dow Jones, yeah, I was just going like, or no, I think DJI is Dow Jones though, which is like basically US30. S-speed. But not Nas is not too bad though. Nas looks that as like, or price action standpoint, looks good. We only trade price action, right? Price action. You guys trade Asian last night? Asian's kind of dry, right? It was like a mini move. You looked, but it was ass. That was kind of ass. I was out yesterday though. I only had a wick entry area. Like, I only marked the one line, and then ranged. Maybe wick entry sell BTZ. Not bad, not bad. You're looking for the first break, it could be a fake out. The first, that's a long ass play, huh? The first breakout could be a fake out. Or like the lower highs. Same sheet, same sheet. That's not bad, dude. Day in a life vlog, one day. Maybe for Christmas. My last vlog was I think the room tour last year. This year we had no vlogs yet. Or lead. Yeah, this one right here. We have a noise. We have a noise. $9 a.m. in about 8 minutes here. We'll see if there's more volume with that. Nope. Spread better. We are just waiting here. Just got some zones and levels marked out and ready to go, really. But now it's just, you know, price action moving to get to those price points. And then that's when we'll start looking for positions. But yeah, I think in this entire range here, we have nothing. This entire range here. We have wick entry sells up here at 41.41, and then we have continuations below here for now. If you come up higher before coming down, then we can get wick entry or continuation sells here instead, so below here. But that would require a push up. So that could change if you get that information, but for now, it's really this entire range we're staying out of. But chat, this is like the longest market cycle switch transition, huh? Like range cycle to like liquidity cycle, but liquidity is the best cycle, and that's next after range. You know, the only thing is like this is still a higher time from range here, right? This is your overall range, so this is the biggest range, very tradable. It's only because right now we're in this area. So we're in like a mini range within that range, right? But once you break out this, I think that's when we'll have more aggressive days for price, which means that you could get more ideas. But that's kind of where we're at. But if you can sit through this, you'll be good when things actually do move. If you lose your patience in this range, then you're gonna cook your account for when you actually do move now. Have I updated my setup this year? A little bit, yeah. I mean, I'm still on triple screen monitor. Dual PC I split up because one's for like my sim rig now, which I haven't really set up yet. But sim setup really. Or did I have 4 monitors in my last setup video? I think I had 4. I'm not using the 4th one. I really only use one though. This one. And my left screen is like my chat. My right screen is just Spotify. Late night moves broke us out of the 4-hour trend line. Did you just mention the word trend line? What's up, CS? Hey, this place is kind of fire, huh? You gotta be in drawdown or something to mention the word trend line. I only mention the word trend line when I'm in drawdown. That's when you start drawing out like, you know, something like this, being like, you know, if you draw all the trend lines here, looking like you might be good here, honestly. Trend lines and inverted charts. Trend lines are technically simple though. Ain't nothing wrong with trend lines. But I don't know. There's really nothing different between trend lines and support and resistance. The trend line just kind of identifies like when you break out a structure, and then your support and resistance, same thing. Like when you break out a structure, the thing is like you don't always need to have you can see it without it as well. Like, you know, the first time you broke out of structure, the previous highs, you know, like we looked at the structure, so like understand that already broke out. But if you draw a trend line, yo, it might be more visible for you to see. Same shit though. Someone probably got a fib going on here. You draw a fib from here to here, right? This is gonna give you a 30.2 retracement or something. Same sheet. We found 77 yesterday though without that. Just by drawing a line, you know, off of these areas really though. Very key. Very key, very key. Trend line on a 22-second time frame. $9 a.m. here, guys. You got a 4-hour close that closed. How did we close here? Week bullish or week bearish? Week bearish. Nothing really crazy or different. Maybe like in 2020, you'll say this is an onion play. Could be an onion play. It is at resistance. It is a bearish closure. I think the only difference is now it's a very weak candle. All right. So still holding these zones here. Could be a higher low as well. What's up, bro? On a 2K account, you don't just chase big wins, right? If the trade isn't going as planned, it's better close in profit, even if it's 14 cents, isn't it? No, that's not really the mindset. It could be a win, a loss, or a break even, or a trail stops and profit, which is a win, but it could be any outcome. It's just like you don't want to make predetermined outcomes like that. Like, oh, I need this trade to be a win, or I need the trade to be a big, like there's no such thing as big wins or small wins. It's just like you mark up your zones and you just take what price gives you. So if you tap a BE zone, you go BE. You tap a trail stop zones, you trail stops, because you're marking these zones based off of like price action, right? So the next like support zone is your BE zone. The next support below that is your trail stops and profit zone, and then you continue having trail stop zones. Let's say you don't tap a BE zone. Let's say you go straight into drawdown. You have a level now to manage risk at. Usually for me, it's a 4 out time from structure area. If you break above there, we manage risk, we take a loss. If you hit stops, you hit stops. So you just you don't approach it in like it's a small account, it's a big account, chase big wins on a small account. It's better to close and profit, or it's better to close than a loss. Like there's no like you're basing it off of just price action is what I'm trying to say. But those things don't determine your trade, you know, whether it's a big account or a small win or a big win or whatever. It's just your zones, because those zones can be consistent every day, you know. Basically, like whatever you do in this account is like you can imagine you're doing the much bigger account if you're not like copy trading over whatever you're doing. Like it's you're taking the same precautions. Like it's not like, that's why I don't see it as big or small account. But yeah, like because that's in your control, right? Like you're drawing your zones up, that's actually in your control. You can actually, you know, select areas that you want to use it. Like let's say you take a sell, where's your break even zone going to be? Like look left, you know, where's an area you can struggle at? Likely here. So like you can go ahead and put it like maybe like roughly here, right? You can base it off of like these areas here, and then these areas, these areas, these areas, these areas. Like it's a pretty decent area. So if you take sells like approaching that zone, that's when you're gonna go BE. And then if you re-break that low, which is gonna be below this wick right there, right? That could be a trail stop, because below there can give you a pop down, which in the past has been able to pop down here, here, and all the way down to here, really. Here before you struggled, here before you struggled, here before you struggled. So then you get the average area. Where is that going to be? Maybe like here, it could be a trail stops area next. So then now all of a sudden you have like a BE zone, right? If you look for sells, you got a BE zone at 40.46. You have a trail stop zones at 40.40. Once it taps 40.40, you basically just move your stops to 40.46, right? So now you're sitting like whatever in profit. Let's see if you entries here, you're sitting like now 130 pips of profit. Your trail stops there, no matter what, you're going to secure 130 pips. If it re-breaks into 40.40, your next zone is 20.28. Then you just kind of trail stops into the 40.40 zone. But you're not making these decisions off of like emotions, right? It's just off of like your levels next. Where could those be? And you could be like aggressive or less aggressive with it. I think just at least having your BE zone set minimum, if you don't want to be as aggressive with your trail stops. You know, if you don't want to trail stops here, okay, fine. But BE zone, have that there at least. And then your TP is wherever, right? Like let's say your TP is down here or something. 7.9, dude. Tempted. What is this? 15, 9, 70, this is 970. That was the biggest day around. What's today so far? Today's not bad. 750. Who knows? Maybe today will be the biggest day of the month, or at least to date. It only has to break the highs for another 300 pips to be the biggest day of the month. The biggest candle of the month has been like 1,000. Unless this right here is larger. Let's see. This is 14. I lied. July 1st. What is the biggest day? 1,400 pips. How are you journaling your wins and losses of the videos, I presume, or you have like a book? I use this. This is my journal. So these are all my stats, and then I just journal here under journal, and then yeah, do exclamation point journal in the chat. A link should pop up to this one. And I use this as well. This might be more helpful. This looks like simpler to read, but this is like requires more data, or gets more data out of the trades. Yeah, that link right there. Click on that. That's the TBJ one. So that's this one. This is the TBJ journal. And yeah. And you can add your own plays to it. You don't need to copy like my plays. You can just kind of go to here, set up page, and then enter your pairs and your different setups and your different entry types. If you don't have any, then start off with something, and then you just kind of pick it up, or just show you the stats over time over here. I don't really use this too much though. I think I will later. Let's see, what's our most used time frames here? I actually never used that. most used time frames is 1 hour and a minute. Let's see, if you put 1 hour in the minute, 1 hour time frame, and then you put, there's no minute here. True. Let's see, what else is there? Your temp plus pips trades. Yeah, I don't use this too much. I think maybe I used this before. Silver. Silver. I never like looked into it. Silver XAG. Moves like gold. All right. I never traded silver though. You said moves a bit wilder at more wild. What is it? Pips 2? This is 2,000 pips. Is this 2,000 pips? 2,000 points, 2,000 pips, right? How does that work? Let's see. So from 5.9 to 5.87, this 500 pips. Five, 9, 2, 5, 7, 3, 4, 5. That should be, or is that? That's not 50 pips, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, gold. Something. NYC in 10 minutes here. XCG is breaking. What's the plan? This is more waiting here, really. Nothing has changed since the morning. I got ideas up here, and then I got ideas down here. I got wick entry sells up here. I got sells down here, and whatever is in this range, at least for now, I can't really do much about, unless you come up and then you start breaking back to the range. And then maybe near here, we can start looking for sells. I'm gonna need to move up first. Yeah, a lot of weight in here. This entire 1500 pip range. Will I take a trade to? We'll find out. We got a lot of time still. It's 9:20. We'll be here until 11. Markets will determine that for me, you know? Can't really say. But those are the ideas though, so whenever you come close towards these ideas, we'll start locking it in. What's up, Haza? Could this be breaking the lows once again? Some volume, you know? Be nice. Like a 1 hour leg candle closure. Drop a like, drop a like. Just chilling. Waiting for this gold move. Thing's not moving. Spreads are good though. Maybe it'll pick up. Maybe. 9:30 NYC open in 3 minutes here. Thank you, bruv. Breaking our lows, could it be? This 30 might be a leg count too. 30-minute leg. Minutes left. 15 will have no bottom wick maybe. 4 hour kind of reflip. Where's the daily flip again? Down at 44,007. Gonna be down here. So yeah, I'm guessing maybe daily flip area could be like the, if you come down, it could be a reaction area for structure. If you do come down. What is that? Jago Danzinka. Oh, I'll be back in like 1 minute. So what was that? Jago Dizianka. Jago 1010 pronunciation. That looks good. Bullish? You 1 minute count gonna make you say it's bullish? Could be. Could be. Just for a day trade? Yeah, it could be. That ideally support, so yeah. Could lead somewhere. What's up, Illis? So not bad. I mean, 4 opened up. Top wick first. Yeah, top wick. And then now you're flipping bearish. So could this re-break the low? And if it does, could you get some volume now? But it looks like you need to kind of break outside of this for volume. By the looks of it. NYSE open too, right? So nothing too crazy yet on the opening. Need that to pick up. $40, $33, $34. I want that to kind of fill or break at least. score, but 40.83.2 won't be too bad. Let's see, could this be? Holy, today is so slow. Like, you got back-to-back slow days. I mean, yesterday didn't move until maybe, yeah, Asian just did. New York, like slight move at 7:30, and then just range. Today, shit. Maybe you might get a decent 1 hour closure. Then we got an hour left. An hour 15 left until the session ends. If we were to drop, where would be the target? If we were to drop, I think there's like approaching these minor zones here, so you could get reactions off of there. After that comes maybe 40, 30. And then your daily flip is at roughly 4,008. So yeah, I'll say like 40, 44, and then 40, 30, and then 4,008. There could be maybe one more area between. But yeah, I'll say those are your levels that you will have to worry about. And then daily zone is 4,008. So that's like, I think, your heaviest zone. But if you could reject off of 4,008 and then continue down, because then if you reject, that's a lower high, right? And then you continue down below 4,008, that's going to be continuation. So below 4,008 down towards like 3,980. That's like our clean traffic range where we're looking for potential sells below. Yeah, the faster you drop, the better, ideally, because the faster we can get that move over with. Because even if it doesn't continue down after dropping, and then it just continues back up, this is at least a higher low. So then ideas could be up here. Sooner. We get wick entry buys anywhere. Wick entry buys, could that be doable? I didn't think about that today. What's this? 4019. How far is that? 200, 230. Go off of this right here. What is that? 4026. You break there with no structure. You get a pullback. Maybe it could be a little lower. Yeah, 4019 is not too bad. Let's see, maybe we get wick entry buys. If you drop, if this drops about structure, obviously, right? You don't want to see structure coming down, but if you get like, let's say, consistent moves, that's okay, right? So let's go down to the 50 and the 5. If you get something like this, that'll be okay still. Like same type of movement you kind of had here, that's fine. But if you start getting, we can then take wick entry buys, right? Because you're looking for a first initial reaction from here up towards like maybe here. That'll be a pretty good target. This is like 100 or 92 pip target. But if it drops with structure, then it's gonna be a little difficult. You probably don't want that idea. But basically, if you come down and then let's say you pull back like this, right? There's some structure now. You don't want to take that wick entry buy here because there's a high chance if there's structure that this could likely push through it. So then we won't have that idea anymore. But yeah, it won't be too bad. 4019, if you come straight down from where we are, that is another 260 to go if it comes down. Maybe a first buy. We haven't had a buy since what, April 29, chat, right? April 29. Yeah, that was our last buy, April 29. So maybe, let's see, could be. I think we had ideas for buys as well early in the month, like wick entry buys as well, but we never got them. But this won't be bad though. But you need to drop down first. And it's right before the day flip as well. And then let's see, if we get the wick entry buy, what will stops be, right? Wait, wick entry buys. That is gonna be maybe down here, like that weekly zone below 38.12. Then we could use maybe 2,000 pip stops. It's not bad. It's pretty average lately. So then lots could be 0.06. But yeah, we need that to drop first. No pullbacks too, right? I don't think I have any continuation buys. It's just wick entry buys like after pullbacks, or the next continuation buy won't be until 4,200. So above here, unless you come down, break the lows first, and then this. But that likely won't be today if this were to happen. But that's the only way we can maybe get buys ahead of 4,200 in terms of continuation buys, because this is gonna be a wick entry buy, all right? So it's not really like a continuation of a move. It's more of like you're anticipating a lower high to occur before coming down, or you're anticipating if this is a higher low, it could reject from here, right? But continuation is more of like with the trend, so it's not really bullish trending at the moment. But if you do come down, right, you break the lows, why would you come back up? I don't know. If you do come up above like 4,077, 4142, 4141, these areas, right, that could be your ideas. But that's gonna require a move down first. So that's the next wick entry buy, or the next continuation buy. Just Joan, we're looking for nothing. Just we have ideas here. We just added idea for 4019. If you come straight down there, wick entry buys from 4019 up to like 4026, 4033, like just from here to here really is what we're looking for. And then the next idea after that becomes wick entry sells at 4141, and then a continuation bear sells below 3980. So those are our ideas. Anything else is like that price drive, that price push. What's up? What's up? What up, Reggie? I don't blame you, bro. This session is mad slow. I think could just pick up. And I'm guessing that would be like our BE zone if we get a 401976. BE zones could be like 4022, 47, and then we just keep having zones up here, so like 4025, and then TP is nothing too crazy here. I don't know if we'll get I mean, we can get a runner in terms of like pips wise, but it's just a first initial reaction. So if you do reject off of 19 all the way up until 28, 28 is our TP. Or we can try a little higher here, maybe 29. But still, it's maybe 100 pips at most. Hold on, chat. You said the gap fill. It'll be nice. That'll be lots of volume for sure. So that does happen, you know. That'll be nice. We have wick entry styles that put them for the ones that take right after the gap fill. So yeah, that would be nice. Give a 5 leg kind of right here. Gap fill is 20, right? For the 120. Yeah, for the 120 from last Sunday. $15 leg candle versus a 5 leg candle here. Two minutes for a 1 hour closure. All right. So 1 hour close chat. Same shit really as the last closure, just a doji candle. But you have a 30-minute leg candle, so it's not too bad. If you can fill that 30-minute leg candle, you can break the lows, then maybe a drive. But yeah, I think earlier this was some type of reaction area anyways, right? You got a reaction off of it, but now we have a leg candle. So could that get filled? And then along with that, it will also be a 1 hour wick fill as well, like the bottom wick of that doji candle. And then that's the re-break of the 4 lows. And then all you really need to do after that is just drop for another like 220 pips down towards like 40.20, 419. That's our wick entry sell area, or wick entry buy area. And that's it. In terms of like the 5 and the minute here, it's not too bad. Like there's a bit of structure forming. It's a little early, I'll say, to say that's like, you know, gonna continue down. But in terms of like small tapping structure, it's there. It's not, nothing's really breaking. I think the only thing lacking is volume, right? Like you are making lower highs, but you need like volume to continue driving. And you want to see like much more aggressive pops than this, right? Like moves down, let's say like this wouldn't be too bad. You know, something like this would be a lot better. Like that, like this, much better. This, much better than like kind of what we're doing right now. So that's all based on price, right? But right now we're kind of just moving like this in that range there. So any given point you could get that drop. Any given point you could get that drop. Any given point you could get that drop. Any given point you could get that drop, right? It's just a matter of price. It's a little better than yesterday at least. Or it can pop up. Popping up will be a lot further because the wick entry sells were like maybe 2 or wick entry buys like 300 pips away now, 340, and then the pop up for us to get like the wick entry sells above there is like 840. There's a lot more to go. Damn, gold. Did bro just fart? I don't think so. Oh week, bro. This thing's not even like this gotta be like, this is like March again. Remember March? March was like this too. March and beginning of April. You smell me? You smell me, bro? This place is not bad though. I like this one. This is a new one. Could be a bullish flag. For show, for show. On the minute, the 5. Oh, some volume here. Could this be? Shit, man. Now we're like 800 pips away from ideas. I'm gonna start reading a book to the chat. I'll stream every day. Read together, chat. While we wait for these candles to move. Done overseas. I think if you search up itsdonvo, it might still pop up. My name. Itsdonvo. Full government name. Itsdonvo. $40.80 break, start a bullish trend. Shit, we'll find out. Donvo and whoa. Real name. Do I trade futures? No, I don't. If I was American, I would, because I would have no choice. But I just never had to make the switch, because I can still trade gold over here. But yeah, maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. It would just be GC though, right? GC and maybe Nas. AMP broker, yeah, a lot of brokers offer MT5 still. Actually, for Americans, you sure? You sure it's not under a country? They usually put some next country under, like, oh, put it under fucking, I don't know, anonymous country. It's like, get by. At that point, you might just go with futures, but there's no point. AMP broker, that's like Kai Cenat's broker? Oh, you just made that comment. Damn, you beat me to it. Fuck. We go crazy on futures. We going crazy on gold right now. So we going crazy though. We going so crazy. I remember getting the funded FX account, 500 each. Wait, that's another thing too. That's funded, right? I'm not unfunded, but funded. If I were to do funded, I'd do funded futures. Chances we flip this $20 to 70 to 100. I don't know, man. I don't know. 70 to 20 to 70 is like 300%. If I was trading a $20 account, it would have taken me 15 months to get to 70 using like normal risk. If you over leverage, a different story. You can get that by tonight if you got a little bit of luck. A little bit of luck if you over leverage it. How you know I'm not already making millions? $1 to 2,000 leverage on an offshore account. Easy. 1 to 2,000 leverage. Yo, do you guys know Vantage FX is with Ferrari F1's team? I didn't know. I used to use that broker. They are now partnered with what do you call it? F1 Ferrari. That's crazy. That's pretty cool. Cookie, you should go to Vantage. That's Hamilton's sponsor right there. Vantage FX. Before they left Canada, I think they're available now in Canada again. No. I think we just do our own thing. What's Axis though? Axis is a funder or something? Anyone trading with blueberry markets from Netherlands? I think Richie might. I might be wrong. I'll ask him. He was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here. But maybe him. There's a lot of Netherlands people watching me, huh? Chat, who's from the Netherlands here? Type of one from Netherlands. US, Netherlands. I'm new. W, bro. Netherlands. Hey, Mass Verstappen. When are we getting Traders University? Maybe one day. I think TGR is doing something called like something Island right now. Fuck. Island. Thank you, Noop. Noop. Oh, breaking the highs there, guys. See, when chat gets active, we start getting volume. You're definitely from Poland, Benzo. Damn. I can just tell, huh? Who else from Polish here? Or Poland here? Who else Polish here? There's gotta be a handful of people from Poland here. Like, Penzo definitely brought in like a good chunk of Polish viewers to the chat. Like Europeans. I know you are, bro. I know you're Polish. Polish. Latvia. Latvia. I know about Latvia. Latvia has a good hockey team. Do you have wick entry styles at 77? Not today, no. Yesterday, Asian session, before you got this reaction, yeah. But that happened at 3 a.m, so I wasn't awake for it. But now that you're coming back up to retest the highs, you should know. If it's not, it's no longer the first initial reaction, right? So we can't really. I mean, you could get a reaction still, but it's a less probable idea now compared to the first tap. I have a 41.41. That's about it, though. Las Vegas? Oh damn, Las Vegas. Nevada. I haven't been. Like, do you gamble? Damn. South Africa. South Africa. Cape Town. You ever been in Latvia? No. I haven't been to Europe. I want to go though. I want to go to Europe. YouTube emotes, yeah, they need to get better, man. They need some moving ones. We can get some moving ones, but we can't use the moving ones here. Yo, y'all watch the Odyssey yet? The Odyssey. Let's see if you come down from here. How much is this? This is some decent structure. How far were we away? 240. From here, it's 430. Decent lower high though. Might be a little lower then. Hours long. Yeah, but it's cinema. Watching IMAX flip. I need another espresso, man. All right, let's see. Can you break the highs here? Could you break the highs here? This is the most volatile candle of the day so far, right here. This one, 140 pips. This one here is 55. Just 30 also moving too. You don't stay in the States? No, I'm not American. I'm Canadian. I think a lot of people think I'm American. I mean, shit, I used to wear like Yankees caps or like Atlanta Braves caps, so. W, man. You can see the Canadian. What do you see from the Canadian? What that mean? Let's see. Remove this for now. Remove this. If this is structure, could there be, if this is a daily high at 40.78 or 40.83, and this is the first time you're moving up after the first time you moved down, if you re-break, there's some structure here below here. Wait for more pullbacks. Could there be continuations before 39.80? And then if you break the highs above 40.78 and then you come back below like 40.50, could you get the leg candle fill then? I mean, you'll need to move up above the highs first if that were to happen. And then you need the leg candle formation and all of that to happen below. But then the leg candle could be something still, because that hasn't been filled yet, right? Then what's the point of going up if you're not going to stay up? It'll be liquidity then. If you come back into the range and then you have a 30-minute leg candle. So it's not too bad. That's what happens. I mean, we don't have bias chat still, right? Nothing. I don't think this higher low here changed much or added much here. It's a good higher low. It's more information for sure. I think still above like 4,200 is where my buys are. 42.24. So no bias for me. There's a gap fill here, so if that can get filled, the wick entry sells up here are still doable too. 41.41. But again, that's pretty far. You know, 700 pips you need to drive before we get the wick entry sells. So. How much is that leg candle fill? $50 pips. Some good volume though, like the same thing that happened on the 4-hour time frame chat. Same thing happened here. This is like the first time you're breaking structure. Going back on the 4, get the same concept going on over here too, where this is like the first time you're breaking like that structure, right? On the 4-hour time frame. This is just the 5, but same concept. Like on the 4-hour time frame, sitting right here right now. And if the whole movie gets corrected the same way that the 5 did, then could that be then finally a break into 4,200? Then that'll be up here. Isn't it a lower high, which should likely cause a higher high since we are seeing structure? Yeah, this could lead to that. This could lead to that. That's why I was saying, like, this is not bad. Like it's a higher low, right? So it could just continue up. And then if it does, we'll have ideas at 41.41 for wick entry sells for the next higher low. But I don't have buys until like the structure actually breaks. So that's why like nothing really adds on to ideas here for me. I don't have buys until at least here, because that's where you break the 4-hour structure at. And that might not be today, right? But yeah, this adds on to something for sure. It's a higher low, first one. But it hasn't broken the highs yet, right? So it can also still rip back into the range. And if it does, it'll be the leg candle fill. I want to see it break the highs ideally first though, for the leg candle fill. He says the Canadian accent. Bull flag, yeah, it could be a bull flag. I don't see things in terms of like those patterns. Like I just see it in terms of like structure. But yeah, like those things could be in it for sure. Could be a bull flag. On like the 5, could be a bull flag here, or even the 15-30, right? Could also just be a bear flag on the 4-hour time frame. That could get corrected as well. But that's also a bull flag too. I don't see it in terms of patterns like that. I just see it like in terms of like price, so whatever price throws. Or like sometimes like we might have ideas for a play, and it could also be a seller replay on a different time frame, even though we're not taking it directly off of the seller replay. It's relatively all the same movements on price that's printing the same patterns, right? On different time frames at once. TikTok traders? How did TikTok traders trade? I know how like not the TikTok traders, like the ones that trade meme coins. I know how they trade. Like I see how I watch like some of the streams on Twitch. Like they're just like over here scanning for like the DEX scan or whatever they're looking at, and then just boom, boom, boom. Like fuck. I haven't seen TikTok traders though. About to fund it today. Good luck, bro. Hope it goes well. When I was starting out, I was crazy chart patterns. Yeah, it's not a bad thing though. Like it's good. It's good to start off. But then it's like anything else, right? Eventually, like you don't need to look at the patterns as much anymore. Like you don't need to rely on it, because then you just kind of see it. Like you take the trailing wheels off, you know, you kind of see what price is thrown at you on multiple time frames. And you're just building your confluences up with multiple time frames, right? Instead of just like that one pattern. Because I think a lot of times when you look at patterns, you're just so stuck on that one pattern. It's like, this has to be a teacup pattern, you know? And then it ends up just being like a lower high to continue down, you know? Like when people see like teacup pattern chat, it's like the only issue with patterns, you get stuck on them. So like, you know, you want to be more open. But where's my drawn tool? Right here. You know, you got like a teacup. People like, oh yeah, you know, this got to be a teacup handle to go up after the teacup, but then it ends up just being like this, right? And then you gotta adapt to that. If it is, then how would you know that it's not gonna be a teacup handle? In this case, like how do you know if it's not gonna be a higher low to continue up? Well, if it comes down, re-breaks the lows, creates structure, lower highs, and eventually that won't be that teacup pattern no more. So same thing that we kind of got going on gold on the 4-hour time frame on the 1, right? If you get enough structure below 419, you can end up getting sells. But yeah, that's not a bad thing though. Because I remember I used to have charts too, like patterns of like, you know, bullish gravestone, dojis, sunset, sunrise, you know, all of that. It's not a bad thing. It's just eventually you kind of see through them. Eventually you just see it as like structure. Like if this is the opening of a candle, bottom wick first, top wick first, boom, right? You opened up here, you closed here. What is this candle, chat? This is a doji. You know, you get the highs and lows in the opening. It opened up and closed where it did. So then you can't see it for that. So now it's like, oh, why? Like when you have a doji candle, usually you would range because this is between the ranges, right? You got your resistance here, you got your support here. So then now what you gotta wait for is like a break of the highs or the lows for liquidity. Let's say you break the highs, you pull back, hold, amazing, right? So you go from looking like a doji looking like this, right? This is the high and low, to the next candle just coming up like this, right? Like that's your leg candle fill or the candle fill. All right, because it just fills a wick up. And that could be like a bearish candle for the pullback, and then that's your continuation. So you kind of just start to see it like a little in terms of structure, and then if you know how to read structure, you can then combine the candles. Like I think what's good is like practicing like drawing out random like arrows, just draw it out randomly, or maybe even like, I don't know, let's say like this, right? If you draw it out like that, like how would that candle look, right? So basically opening is right here. So this is the opening, bottom wick first, you close bullish. This is kind of what you got going on, right? Because then this is like the lows, the highs, and then the body, right? So that it ends up being a leg candle. So then you can see like when you get a leg candle fill, what's happening in terms of structure is you're just breaking the previous higher low, right? That's your leg candle fill. And that's what happens when you have a candle come down like this. That's your leg candle fill. Right, but that all of the magic happens kind of right here. That's where we want the leg candle formations to form anyways, right? So yeah, like it's just, you can't just see it all as the same. So no matter if it's like a 4-hour time frame, you could understand how it looks on the 1-hour time frame, right? You're just breaking it down further and further, and then you can't just get used to that habit. Just that solar system strategies go to. But yeah, all of it works. It's just after a while when you look at price action for so long, you just see it all as the same concepts. Even news too. That's to that point. Or even like this, right? You go on like the 4, or let's go on like the 30, right? Yeah, I mean, if you combine this entire move into a candle, right? How it's gonna look? It's probably gonna look something like this right now. So, I mean, let's say the candle starts here. You draw it up like that. That's your bullish candle. And then you're pulling back right now. You have a low here, you're like kind of here, like this is the candle right now. On some time frame, you probably will see it like this, right? I mean, this took up how long? This from here to here is maybe 16 hours, so almost a daily candle, right? Depends where you open up, but here is 6 p.m. on the opening. Daily candle might look like that, right? Going to daily, that's exactly how it looks on a daily, right? Then like within that candle, like from here to here, you got that, and you got this, and then you got that, and then now you're here, right? Because you have a high here, a low there, and then this is the bottom wick, this is the high, and this is where you're at, right? So you can see like the structure is starting to form a little bit. So if the daily candle today made a high, and then it made a low, so it tried to come down, and then it made another lower high. It's like, what happens? What do you think will happen if the daily candle re-breaks the lows again, or the current lows right here? Can that take you down towards the daily flip, right? I mean, now you gotta account for like clean traffic and stuff. Like for instance, could this be clean traffic if you were to come down again? Could that be something important, right? So if there's like structure starting to form here, lower highs and lower highs, if you were to re-break, could then this take you down, right? You probably want to wait for pullbacks, but once it does, then between here and here could be your daily flip, and then that's where you want to look for sells at, right? And then the daily candle goes from looking like this to then just flipping bearish. All right, so just add the pieces together, and that's kind of what it gives you. But it's like, again, all structure and price action. So it's not complicated. It's just understanding time frames and just like reverse engineering candles, really, right? Trading, I've been trading for 2018 December area, so maybe 6 and 8 years, going into my 8th year. Years every day though. Like I don't think I've taken a break for the 8 years. Okay, I'm gonna get some water. Be right back. Atlanta Premier Catering, what's up, man? Chat, how long you guys been training for? Water break? Too much yapping, I'm thirsty. 8 years every day? Shit, seems the same as me then. Same as me. Yeah, for the most part every day. Like the most I've taken a break for was maybe like 3 weeks. Christmas break, that's about it. December, usually I take like a 2-3 week break in December. But then that's pretty much it though. Like basically every market cycle since like 2019, 2018. This one is come on, gold. What time is it? 10:46. So we got 15 minutes left, and then 11, and then we'll set a session stop loss, and then we'll go from there. And we'll see what's up. Looking pretty dry though, man. Pretty dry though. The biggest move today was this one. This 1 hour candle about 10, and this was about 200 pips. That's about it for the NY session though, right? Pretty slow. But this is when the experience kicks in, right? Like not getting frustrated that things are slow for 2 days, right? Because you've seen this before. You've seen where prices move for days or even weeks sometimes, and then it does pick up. So like, would you rather like, you know, trade through these ranges and then not have an account for when things actually do move? Also had that experience before too, right? This is not a fun experience. For real, ever since Penzo's here, I don't see Farzo no more. It's like Penzo just took over. Penzo, I think 2023, right? I think a large chunk of people came in 2023. I don't think Penzo started like talking though until like Twitch days. Yep. Gat. Yo, Don, can you shake that cool little Don? Twerk. Don, gat. Don, can I see your gat? Don, twerk. Can I see your gat? Chat. Fuck, that shit funny. Think I'm 2022. Yeah. What grad year you guys chat? What DVS grad year? And 2026? There's gotta be a lot. There's gotta be. I think a lot of chat now might be 2026. Honestly. In 6 years, we're gonna be like, yeah, this stuff needs to take back in 2026. Oh man, gold. Twitch was lit. I just wish Twitch added like a day trading category. Like they don't have a day trading, they have a crypto category, but that's about it. Like, I think YouTube has the most traders in the platform. It's been a week. I don't have a trade for gold. For me, it's been 5 days. Sell or buy gold. Three years now. Oh. Damn, 2023, 2026 in 3 years. That's crazy. Just came in. What is the plan here? Waiting for a sell at the market supply zone? No, sir. I am looking for 41 wick entry sells if you come up there without structure, or I am looking for sells below 4,008, 4,019 areas. If you can break the highs of 40.77 again, or 39.80 if you don't break the highs again. But yeah, just ideas for sells so far. for the most part, it's like just between here and here, I got nothing. I need some volume. So I'm hoping, you know, you can do something outside of this range that will lead to more information, because you get more candles being printed if you do breakout, and that could lead to more ideas. But as of right now, without those ideas, without those candles printing, I just got those two. And that's been the same as the entire session too. I was hoping that move, but still loading around this range here. Do you analyze DXY? No. No DXY. It's better. I don't have a trade. I like quality trades than quantity. Yeah, I think the longest I went with no trade was maybe like 2 weeks. Maybe like 14, 15 days of no trade. Like 14, 15 trading days. And that was in March when I first came back. It was a very slow range. Kind of like how it is right now. A little worse, I think, though. When you're trading, what is it that you're looking for? Just like areas. I'm paying a lot of attention to areas you can like reject that. So major zones. I'll start the day off by marking up like the situation we're in. So like we're kind of in this like overall daily zone, even though we're not using the entire daily to like confirm our ideas. It's just to understand where we're kind of sitting, because then that puts us in one of these columns: drive cycle, range cycle, or liquidity cycle. So right now, I'll say we're more so in like a range cycle on the higher time frame, because you've just been ranging. Then off of a range cycle, okay, well, what's gonna happen next? Are we then on a smaller time frame, right? Lower time frame, are we in a drive, range, or liquidity cycle, right? So we have this checked off. And then are we in a drive, range, or liquidity cycle next, right? Which one are we in? So then I'll determine that. And right now I'll say we're more so in a range and a range. So that's why like there's been no trades. But yeah, I'll like mark up areas that you could reject off of, react off of. Like I had a 40.77 from Asian last night. I think even from New York yesterday. I was hoping you'll tap that during New York yesterday, so we can get wick entry sells. That didn't happen to Asian. I now have a 41.41 for wick entry sells next, because if this is to correct this entire move from July, at what zones could you react at to get pullbacks to continue up, or if it's a fake out to continue down? Either way, you'll be in a win-win situation, right? Because you see how this is like barely structured going up. So if this continues to go all the way up towards 41.41, you could expect some type of reaction here, right? And we're not looking for like a wick entry sell there to come all the way down towards here. Like we're looking for literally the initial reaction. So it could just be from like here, maybe until, you know, like roughly here, right? Until like the next support zone. And that could be enough of a range for us. So that's like a 200 pip range, 300 pip range. So now look for wick entry sells there to come down for a higher low, right? Which then you'll have a higher low now. And if it's a continuation drive, then amazing. You continue driving down, and now look for more of now continuation sells once you create enough structure. So more so below here, I'll look for sells again, right? But I think from this range until here, I'll probably stay out of if we were to get the wick entry sells. But yeah, it's just like I'll mark up heavy zones, and then I'm looking for just like reactions and in terms of structure where we're kind of sitting. But yeah, going back to the playbook, this helps. This helps guides you to those ideas. And this is my playbook. My first playbook was a little different though. My first playbook looked more of like this. This is my first playbook. right? This is like 2021. And then now we got the new one, which looks a little more complicated because it's not as like there's not as much pictures. But I think what's important is like these are still the same as the first playbook. What's changed was the process, like how we got to those points. So I'm looking to make a V2.1, which is going to be a combination of this one and this one. In terms of visual, it'll be this, but visually it might be in this chart work, so it might be easier to follow. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Every day, same shit. We just show up and we'll mark up our zones at 8 a.m. in the morning. And then after that, it's just drawing out the potential plays and then letting price do whatever it wants to do, you know? Like we have different plays throughout the day for if price were to drive up, if price were to drive down, but usually these plays are like predetermined. And then it's just a matter of price can fill in those gaps, like those shoes. Like if we want to see a wick entry style here with no top wick, then I'll need to pop up with no structure. So then if price ends up coming up with no structure, there you go. There's our move, right? But all of these plays are like preset or predetermined. And we'll draw more plays throughout, but it's just a matter of price and fill in those actual shoes or not, those lines. And some days, you know, it might look like this. Some days it's just a range and shit. It's just, can't do nothing about it. You take arbitrage on stream? Yeah. Ever since March, since we've been on stream, every trade's been taken on stream. Aside from like maybe the last trade, this one was during late New York in the DVS01 group, because I'm starting to trade Asian again, so you will see a mix. But for the most part, like, I mean, every trade on this account has been called out in a single channel for sure. Every single one. At minimum in DVS01, because they get the signals right to their the Discord. No matter if I'm on stream or off stream. If one direction, then buy or sell. Don't say both, bro. It's both. It's gonna be both, TSA. That's always my answer. Like, there's always gonna be buys and sells that we can both take. You might not want to hear it, but that's just how I trade, you know? That's just how I approach it. It's always both. In some cases, it could be one, like when it's like really driving. But right now we're in a range, so it could be either end. But it doesn't mean like we take buys and sells. It just means we have, it goes from being wick entry sells to continuation sells. But I'm still looking for that overall move. But it's always both. Yeah, wick entry sells at 41.41 before? 41, I think so. I think we got wick entry sells here. What day was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. July 9th, we got wick entry sells there. So yeah, we did get a 41.41 before, chat. It's happened at that zone. So maybe this time will happen again. Maybe. True. Wide range, no trades. Is it not worth catching the top or bottom? It's not. For me, it's not about being like worth it or not. I think like everything is worth it. It's just in terms of like, for me, this is how I'm approaching it. I'll determine whether it's like high probability or high probable, you know. But that's just how I approach it. You might approach it different, right? Like something for me that's not high probable could be high probable for you, or something that's high probable for you might not be high probable for me, vice versa, right? So it's just how one would approach it. But like, for instance, like if you think that it's worth it to catch the top or bottom of the range, then by all means go ahead, right? My issue here is like, this is my range. Your range could just be this, right? Which is not wrong. It's just how you interpret it. But this is my range from here to here. So like, could you be bullish here? Maybe, right? I'm not too sure until you break above the range though. I don't have buys until then. The only thing I do have is wick entry sells due to the fact that this has been a very slow move. And it looks like you broke out of the range for the first time, or broke structure for the first time. So if it's a first breakout outside of structure, it could lead to a fake out still. At any given point, this could be a lower high to continue down as well. Right? So if it wasn't 77, which I already rejected off of earlier, last night during London, your next area could be up here, 41.41. So if you do come up towards 41.41, that's my wick entry sell, because I'm expecting a higher low to occur like this in order to drive up to the top of the range to fill it. Or if it's a lower high, then it comes down. But either way, we'll have that like reaction zone there. So that's how I see it. But that doesn't mean like, you know, you can't take buys going up here. I just don't have any buys until 4,200 because of that range. So it's like, when people ask like, yo, Don, this is a good position, like I don't even know what to say, because just because I'm not looking at it doesn't mean it's not a good position, right? It's just I don't have any ideas there. Like I'm looking for whatever I explained. Like this range here, right? From here to here is like maybe 560 pips, right? I don't have anything in this area for positions or ideas. Well, what's the indicator zone? Horizontal. I think it's called this one right here is called horizontal. This one right here, horizontal line, and then horizontal ray are the yellow ones. Like everyone has their own playbook, chat, at the end of the day, right? Everyone got their own playbook. A playbook can't be wrong. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean someone else's playbook is wrong, you know? If your friend has a playbook and they got trades going on that you might not, they're not wrong. It's just that's what they see. That's how they see the charts. That's how they execute. That's what their plan is. But you can't argue with someone else's plan. If they win a trade, like they follow their plan. As long as they follow their plan, they won, right? But you can't argue with someone over like what playbook is better or like this versus that. It's all, everyone approaches it differently. Or at least if you're profitable, you'll understand that. Right? Usually the ones who are unprofitable are the ones that argue. The ones who are profitable, it's like they understand that there's a million ways to approach it, a million ways to trade the markets. What does that mean? But it's also just like someone could say like, oh, like you only wait for like A plus setups, right? But it's like I don't even see a setup as like a C plus or a B or A or a D. Like it's just one type of idea. It's like if you journal and mark it out, and then you now have stats for it, you're just taking trades off of your playbook, right? I don't even see it as like an A plus or like a B minus or whatever. It's just, if it's good, it's good. If it's not good, it's not good, you know? If it's not high probo, or if it's not high probo, then it's low probo. If it's not low probo, then it's high probo. If you don't see it, then you stay out. Basically is what it is. Yeah, DD drawdown is part of it. Perfection doesn't mean like perfect trade as well, right? Like that's why like we're not even looking for the perfect setup. We're just looking for a setup. There's no such thing as a perfect setup. It's just a setup, and that setup could give you drawdown. It can give you no drawdown, but you selected a stop that's off of a strategy that you can repeat for every trade. So then you're covering up for the fact that there could be drawdown already, right? Because why would you draw down? Why would your stop be that massive or wherever that point is if you're not going to cover for the drawdown, right? So yeah, it's all part of it. It's all part of it. Sometimes we might go on like, 2,000 pip drawdown, sometimes 400, sometimes 3, whatever it is. But that's part of it. That's why our stops are where they are. Because we're not chasing like the perfect trade. Even wick entry sells, right? It's not always going to be like exactly at that wick area. It's just the idea of it is like, you're looking for a wick entry sell in terms of first pop up, and then you're looking for a reaction. So sometimes you might get an entry like here. Let's say you had a zone here and then comes up towards here, it comes up higher, right? But you're still looking for that like higher low. That's the move that you're looking for. That's the initial move. When a person using your price action strategy, what would you advise they do? Scalping or day trade to cope better? Cope better? I think depends on how you look at it. Like if you're looking for a higher time frame trade, then you're looking for a higher time frame trade, right? If you're looking for a 15-minute time frame setup, if that happens to be clean for you, then take your 15-minute setup. I think it's just what's cleaner for you that day, or because not all days I'm looking at the 5 or 15. Some days like I'm basing my overall idea off of 4-hour or a daily, and I'm taking a daily setup, right? Like I think maybe our last trade was the one. The last time we had a daily setup was right here. We used a daily, 4-hour, and the one, so that was more of a higher time for setup. We're looking for I think a daily drive or something, I forgot, but yeah, it's just what's cleaner that day. It doesn't have to be like one or the other. It's just what's clean that day for you. What time frame is like the easiest to read for you that day? You don't gotta choose before like, oh, that I want to swing today, that I want to scalp today. Like you wake up, open up charts, you analyze like you normally would, and then what conclusion have you came up with, right? What's the cleanest idea here? By the way, there's a 4-hour leg candle right here that I did not see, that hasn't been filled yet, right? That was from the 14th, so 7 days ago, last Tuesday. But yeah, like for instance, if I saw that right now on the 4, if I look for buys here, that's a 4-hour leg candle setup, right? So now I'll put that down as a 4-hour idea. So it just depends on what's coming at you that day. W139. 139. 100. How much is the Unk alert? Can someone send me the Unk alert? I saw that in on someone else's chat. How much is Unk alert? Wow, it's 11. I didn't even take that in. All right. You don't see the Unk alert? No, it's gotta be Unk alert. I saw it. Dude, these are mad expensive though. Oh, $50 sticker? They can't make better ones for 50 bucks? The spoiler alert. How did he get an Unk alert? I watched like some clips of it, but no, not the full vid. You offer mentorship? Devious 02, yes sir. I'll see you in Devious 02. Or someone command it? I should take you to this website. Devious 02. That's no fun. All right, chat. Yeah, what time is it? 11:15. So fuck. It looks like. I mean, how far are we now? You know, it's 11:15. We're 600 pips away from the wick entry sells. The thing is, if you break the highs, it could be a quick move. You got to break above 48.4, so maybe 90 more pips, and then fuck, who knows? Maybe this can be a quicker push up. But our next idea is up there, so it's quite far. It is quite far. I have a leg candle too, so if you fill the leg candle, that is going to be maybe 21 200 pips. A leg candle fills 200 pips here, and then if you break the high, how much do you got to go? Like 350. So it just depends on how fast this move happens, right? Well, I think we'll start placing session stop losses for the NY session here. Worst case, I'll call it in the group if we do get a late session. Maybe I'll be on until around 12 or something. We'll see how the volume comes, but I think I'll put a session stop loss in the flip here of 47.2. If you flip bearish, break that low, we'll call it a day on stream here. If not, then we'll continue to watch price drive up. All right, but it is gonna be 620 more pips. So chances are slim, but who knows? Who knows? How can I join? Go to admeast.com, and then it should be. This is Devious 01. Sorry. This is Devious 01, and then this is Devious 02. These ones just the signals. The signals in the live trading calls in the morning. So right now. And then Devious 02 is going to be the course. And there's also a bundle with like both of them combined for people who are interested in DVSO 1. You get basically 2 years of DVSO 1 if you get the DVSO 2 plan. Package B. But yeah, admes.com. You can check it out. Could you teach me some slang? Yes, and Cookie, teach you some slang. For 120 wick entry sells, 120 is not bad as well. That's like right after the gap fill. Yeah, it's not bad. It could be an area as well. How far is that? Even that though, it's gonna be like another 420. That's not bad though. There's like no top wicker. That's like right at the gap fill. So yeah, you could get a reaction there instead. Who knows? Maybe we'll have that instead of 4140. But I think I'll have to look to see how it drives up after it breaks here, because then above here is clean traffic, and I would prefer no pullbacks, right? That would be preferred. But yeah, another pretty boring session, chat. Early GG. Might be GG's for the week. Is tomorrow the red folder, the yellow folder, or orange folder? No, it's Thursday. So tomorrow, once again, no news. But maybe price will be doing something at least. It's good. I think today was good though in terms of progress. Like, this actually broke structure for the first time, so that's good. Now it's just a matter of this could like tomorrow continue or reject now, right? Anything would be good though. Even if rejection would be good, a continuation up would be good. It don't matter where it goes, but something to break us out and give us some sense of direction. Yeah, tomorrow could be a much better day. Today's setting up, or even Asian session tonight. What's up, Smart from the city? You said low key? Fuck no, that shit high key. That is not low key. It is high key. Well, yeah, that's how they make their money. That's how the business model works, right? But there's pros and cons, right? There's gonna be cons to those rules, but at the same time, the pros is you get funded until you get too many payouts and then they ban you, and then you gotta just buy new funded and then do it again and again and again and again and again. And you just build one account, a live account, and you know, through it, but you know what I mean. Yeah. High key. All right, chat. I think that's it, bro. I think that's it, guys. We're gonna call it a day here. No trades today. Our last trade was on the 16th, which was last Thursday, but we'll be here tomorrow. I'll be live here at 8 a.m. East once again. Hopefully, fingers crossed, more volume tomorrow, but back-to-back pretty slow days. Today was good progression. Yeah, good progress towards price action. So maybe tomorrow could be a lot better. And then the rest of the week could be a lot better, right? So maybe a slow start to the week and good ending to the month, to the week. First month is coming to an end as well. We got 9 days left. But yeah, chat. If there's anything else today, I'll call it in the single channel. In DBSO 1. I'll see you guys there. But as for the stream, chat, we tried, you know, from 8 to 11. I'll see you guys later. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Peace, peace. Don't force any trades, okay? Be patient. It'll be worth it. Laters.